Lovely.
So long lines are a really useful tool. It means you can give your dog a little bit of freedom without feeling like you've lost control. So it's really good when you're at that first initial puppy stage, if you're a bit nervous about letting them off, or maybe as they're getting older and they're getting more confident and maybe feeling like they can go off into the bushes a little bit too far. Maybe they're starting to learn to hunt and we want to rein them in a little bit and teach them to be really focused and have a really good recall before we start giving them that kind of freedom. So I have various long lines I use. This is a horse lunge line, so it's really good for the bigger dogs. It's got a nice big clip and it's nice and secure, and I also really like it because it's a nice thick material, but it's also very soft in your hands. So this is a Shire's horse lunge line. So for your smaller dogs, you might not want such a heavy long line. So this is a Clicks long line. They come in 5 metres or 10 metres, so two quite nice lengths. And you can decide what's sort of the most appropriate for you, depending on your dog, how far they like to go, and also how good you are at handling and organising the long line. So it's a nice light material, but it's also very soft in the hand. So again, this is why I like this brand. So we want to make sure we keep the long line nice and organised. So I can always start off just looping it up. So it all can start off a bit of a mess on the floor, but we want to make sure we start nice and organised so our dogs aren't going to get tangled. So before I clip the long line onto my dog, I'll just make sure all the knots are gone. That's the other reason I like this material. It doesn't tend to have too much memory, so it doesn't kind of twist so much when you're looping it up. So that's organised now. Now this is a 10 metre line. Like I said, if you're not very good at holding all this rope, you might prefer a 5 metre line, or if you've got a smaller dog. So what we're going to do with our long line, see this end is clipped to the dog, and this end is going to stay in our hand. So I tend to keep the loops in my left hand, nice and organised, and then I can let a loop out as necessary, or I can loop it in as necessary. So I'm just trying to keep it off the ground so no legs are going to get tangled. That's of particular importance if you're passing other members of the public, or if your dog is going to interact with another dog. We don't want the line on the floor because that potentially could mean that somebody could get tangled and that could really hurt a dog's leg. So we're going to just make sure the line stays organised, and I can be as flexible as I want to be all the way throughout the walk, and giving them as much freedom as I want to, or a little bit less as necessary. So this is a Flexi Lead, or an extending lead, and what that means is it's a little wind-up mechanism within this plastic box. Now I don't like these for a number of reasons. Firstly, it encourages pulling. If the dog pulls, they get more freedom, the line goes out. I also don't like them because they're quite cumbersome, they're quite heavy, especially when you've got little dogs. If you drop it and it scrapes along the floor, it's quite frightening for them. They're quite limiting in how you can hold them, they're quite cumbersome. So I don't think they're very good from a handling perspective. But also they make for lazy training. So what will happen if you want to get your dog back, you may just press this button and it will jolt to a halt. Now that sends a bit of a jolt to the dog, and if it's on a collar that could really hurt their neck. If it's on the harness, it can unbalance them and be unpleasant. And then you might let the line out again and then press the button several times before you get them back. So that's what I see fairly frequently. So you've got a number of things. You've got this inflexibility to loosen the lead in social situations. You've got this immense amount of pressure, which is also jolting the dog around, and it's cumbersome and it's quite hard to handle it in a nice relaxed way. So I don't recommend Flexi Leads for all those reasons. They maybe have their place at some times, but mostly I'd be saying use a long line and let's start some good training. It's nearly impossible to train a good recall with this tool. So you want to make sure you keep your line nice and organised, because otherwise if it's on the floor, a member of the public could trip over, you could trip over, or your dog could get entangled. So that's of particular importance when we're passing members of the public, and also if your dog is interacting with other dogs. So what I will do is I will keep the lines in a nice organised loop, and I will tend to hold the loops in one hand. I will use my other hand to regulate the length of the line. So if I wanted to give Ollie a little bit more freedom, I can let a loop out, and if the line was starting to get on the floor a bit more, I can loop the line in again. So my whole walk I'll be looping in, looping out, looping in, looping out, constantly regulating the length of the line. When they're interacting with other dogs, I will also have the line nice and high, but it will slide over my palm. So if Ollie wanted to bum sniff and circle, he still can, and I will walk with him to give him the freedom to do that, because I don't want the line to interfere with their social behaviour. So what we see a lot with dogs interacting on leads is owners standing there with the leads like this, and it's very tense, and then the dogs end up stuck face to face, and they can't necessarily move around and bum sniff like they need to. So let the line slide over your palm, walk with them, and let the lead slide in and out as necessary without having any on the floor.